So, Eden-Monaro, is it about to become the first by-election test since the 2019 election? Now, this is all because of Mike Kelly, a man who has served his country on the battlefield and served his country as the local member. He's had some health issues for some time, so whether that by-election happens or not, apparently the speculation is he might have to step away from the parliament as early as this week. So then the question is, who would go up against the Labor candidate? Well, there seems to be a three-way fight here, including potentially an issue of a high-profile Lib and a high-profile National, where the Deputy Premier, John Barilaro, who is very au fait with that part of the world, he might be the Nationals candidate. Jim Molan is thinking about jumping out of the Senate and representing that part of the world in the lower house. And then there's Andrew Constance, who is the member for Bega at the state level and well known to people after his response and quite emotional connection to what happened with the bushfires. So how does Gladys Berejilklian feel about not one but two of her ministers quitting to compete against each other, against Labor, in a seat that, historically speaking, Labor would be able to hold on to because, generally speaking, governments don't win by-elections?
Premier, what do you make of reports that John Barilaro and Andrew Constance are named as potential candidates in a possible Eden-Monaro by-election?
Oh, look, they're both outstanding assets for New South Wales, and obviously I'd prefer they stayed in New South Wales, but they're ultimately matters for them.
Gritted teeth. I'm completely fine with it here. Look, Richo, can we just play reality check here that regardless of, it would have to be pretty extraordinary for the opposition to lose a seat in a by-election, no matter how good the candidate is, and that's not speaking against Jim Molan, against Andrew Constance or against John Barilaro, but my money would be where history always is, which is governments don't flip at by-elections and win seats. Labor would be able to hold on to it.
Well, you'd imagine so. If Labor didn't, it would be a disaster. So I'm not going to get too excited about it. If I was Jim Molan, of whom I'm a great fan, as you know, I'd just stay where I was. I think the Liberal Party have got to find a way to look after him in the longer term. He's a terrific asset who's been poorly treated, and they ought to recognise that sort of talent, and they ought to do something with it.
Look, I know Eden-Monaro, former bellwether seat, all of that business, and it'd be great to see the government get that extra bump. But history is where it is, Rowan, no matter how excited people are. But let's play this game for a second. Who would you like to see? Because you could potentially end up with Barilaro as the Liberal candidate, the Nationals candidate, Molan as the Liberal candidate, and both would, of course, have to resign their positions in Parliament to be able to do so.
Well, I'd prefer Jim Molan stayed where he is and Barilaro won the seats. That would be, for me, a great outcome. I think the Liberals could easily win this seat. Normally, traditionally, up until Mike Kelly, that particular seat always followed the government of the day. So it was always a good indicator. And Mike Kelly was such a popular guy that he was kind of the exception. But whoever Labor don't have a hope in hell, in my opinion. I think Richo is wrong. I think it will be a disaster for Labor. And if either Barilaro or even Constance stands up, I think they'll win it easily because Albanese's performance is so woeful, and particularly over the current crisis, which is extending on for however long, Albo just looks like a joke and Labor look irrelevant.